Today I'm going to show you how to measure the intersection of two lines, to create a point out of two existing lines on your part. So if I want to know where the intersection of this line is and that line is, what I would simply do is calculate two lines, store them in the feature list, ask for a point, and recall line 1 and line 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my crosshairs to the first line I want to calculate and store in my memory. So I'll press the line key. Any line wants a minimum of 2 points, a maximum of 99. So I'll take my first point, take my second point, my third point, and we'll take one more just for the heck of it. Fourth, we tell it I'm finished. Now you'll see it's outputting the line 1. It's giving me the XY position on the line that's closest to my 0, 0. And it actually tells me the angle of inclination that that line has from my axis. So it's 29 degrees based on my 0 axis of the table. If I press the view key, it actually shows me the points that I took to create that line, and it'll give me a straightness feature. So out of those 4 points, I get a form of 3/10,000ths of an inch. Go back to view. Now I'm going to move my crosshairs to my second line that I want to know the intersection to. Line it up. Simply press the line key and repeat the measurement. 1, 2, 3, and finish. So you'll notice I have line 2 on my feature list. Same outputs. It's telling me that line's almost 180 degrees, almost perfectly flat to my stage. Again, I can view it and see the straightness of that line as well. 3/10 out of 3 points. Go back to view. Now I want to know where those two lines intersect. So if I come over to here, I want to know where line 1 and line 2 intersect, where that space is, that point is in space. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to look for a point, because two intersecting lines create a point. So I'm going to ask for the point key, and I'm going to recall my lines. Recall line 1, enter. Recall line 2, enter. When you're done, you press finish. That calculates your midpoint, or your intersected point of the two lines. So if you view it, it'll show you line 1, line 2, and the intersection point that I created. If I wanted to make that intersection point 0, before I got out of the feature list mode, the XY axis is displaying, I simply zero out the readout. Now when I go back to my machine, it redraws my 0, so when I go right to that corner, I'm back to my 0, 0 point, the theoretical 0. And that's fine, 0. Shows you when that line creates the space. Now, if I wanted to calculate the angle of these two lines, I already have them in my memory. Well, what would I do? Instead of hitting the point key for an intersection, I'd ask for the angle key. So I probe an angle, since I know I have leg 1 and leg 2 in the memory, and that's where I want my angle calculated from. Again, I'll recall leg 1, recall leg 2, tell it you finish, and it calculates my angle. 149, if you view it, 149 degrees. And you'll see it's 149 on the screen, and also that's the arc that I measured between those two lines. That's how you measure an angle or a point using the feature list and the intersection or the use of two lines.